Okay, so you'll have 20 minutes to prepare your presentation, and in a moment I'm going to show you an example of my presentation or of an example presentation which you may want to use to help. So if your teacher hasn't already, they'll put you into groups of 3 or 4. Then you'll choose your everyday oxidation reaction out of a list that I will show you in a minute. It will only take you 1 minute to do. And then question criteria. Each person in the group will have a question which they can answer. And that answer you're going to collate as a group onto one slide, and you'll have one transcript as well to go with that slide. You'll then have 4 minutes to rehearse, and your presentation should be around 2 minutes. And then you'll have 2 minutes at the end to present to the class. So in total there, at that last part, number 5, you'll have 20 minutes in total. And now the next slide, I'm just going to play you an example of what I'm looking for. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can think outside the box, but it's an example nonetheless. Respiration is an example of an oxidation reaction as 2 elements in the compound glucose are oxidized to form carbon dioxide and water, as you will see later. Respiration is a chemical reaction which gives energy and happens inside most of the cells in our body and plants, for a matter of fact. It happens in a little organ in the cells called the mitochondria, which are these purple structures here. The chemical reaction requires some type of fuel or sugar, and oxygen. In humans, we get the fuel from the foods that we eat, which contain some type of carbohydrate, which can be broken down to its simplest form, which is glucose. Whilst in plants can make the glucose themselves using through photosynthesis, which uses light to make them. The glucose then reacts with the oxygen in an oxidation reaction to form carbon dioxide and water and energy in both animals and plants. We actually breathe out some of this water vapor, and that water vapor can condense on cold surfaces, such as a bus on a cold day. Looking closely at the reaction and the atoms involved in the reaction, we can see that glucose contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and the carbon atoms in glucose are oxidized to form carbon dioxide, as you learned before, and your hydrogen is oxidized to form water, again, as you've learned before. There are the same number of atoms before and after the reaction, showing that this reaction follows the conservation of mass, which all chemical reactions and physical reactions do. So there are the same number of carbon atoms on the left-hand side as there are on the right-hand side, the same number of hydrogens before as there are after, and the same number of oxygens. Okay, as a group, you'll have 1 minute to choose your everyday oxidation reaction. I hope you found the video on the previous slide useful. So yeah, 1 minute to choose one of these. Now note, for combustion, only choose one fuel, and for oxidation, only choose one food. That's because you'll be looking at one chemical reaction. Okay, so please do pause the video. Okay, now question 2, the number 2 question criteria. So each person will choose one of these questions about your chosen oxidation reaction to answer. So choose one of those, and then please do research it and answer it. Okay. Please keep it simple. Remember, you will be collating your information after, so it will be more. If you feel like it's too simple now, it will be a bit more complicated when you collate all of it. So do keep it. Try to keep it simple, thinking about the audience that you're presenting to. Now you can collate all of your information. You have 10 minutes to do that, and before you do that, I just want you to pick some roles. Try and be quick about this. It doesn't really matter, but just try and be quick about what roles you decide to take on. So slide developer, you'll develop the slide with the pictures and some words and reactions. And the transcript developer, they will develop the transcript, the written transcript that the presenter will read. The presenter will help with the slide and the transcript, and we'll just practice reading it, I guess. I'm asking any questions to the people who have put it together. And then the timekeeper will ensure everyone knows how much time is left. You may want to say, timekeeper may want to give maybe a reminder every 2 minutes that we've got 8 minutes left. Now we've got 6 minutes. We've got 4 now. Now we've got 2. We've got 1 now. That kind of thing. Okay, then rehearsal. You have 4 minutes to rehearse. So please rehearse your presentation at least once, guys. You might not have the chance to do 2, but you might be able to fit 2 in. Slide developer. Look for anything you can do to make the slides smoother. And the transcript developer, offer friendly advice on the transcript. So perhaps you could say, perhaps you can ask someone, perhaps you can say as a criticism, like, oh, perhaps we can say this instead of this. Presenter, encourage constructive feedback, e.g., so encourage it from other people. So, hey, Tom, what do you think we can improve on the intro at all? Or, and then timekeeper, ensure the presentation stays as close to 2 minutes as possible. Okay, thank you for being really mature in your approach as well, guys. I understand that it can be quite a lot here to think about, but as long as you're working together as a team, and the ultimate aim is to have a good presentation at the end of it.